know, this is Conversation Lagos, where we talk about and, showcase
Lagos.
anything Lagos. And we also call it Lagos-centric segment. Okay, today we're discussing enhancing business operations and investment opportunities here in Lagos State. And our friend, yes, I'll call him our friend of the house, Mukhtar Mohammed, is an international finance and economics analyst. He's here with us to have, to highlight more about today's topic. You're welcome.
Thank you. Always a pleasure to be in LTV. Like they said, friend of the house.
Friend of the house. Okay, I have this write-up by Mr. Governor, which I'm going to start the conversation with this morning. Just about a month ago, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu assured of his administration's commitment to creating a business-friendly environment that encourages local and foreign investments and promotes sustainable business growth. Mr. Governor also confirmed how his team is working tirelessly to simplify regulatory processes and eliminate bureaucratic bottlenecks. Those are challenges we are going to also talk about later that hinder business operations, as various reforms have been launched aimed at improving the ease of doing business.
All right.
So let's begin. Where is Lagos the most attractive bride for business?
Number one, you have to look at what will make me want to do business in any place.
Okay.
You first of all look at security. You look at rule of law. You also look at the people that are there also matters. Then infrastructure.
Okay.
Now, so if you want to tell me, Glada, if I want to come to Lagos,
do I have all this?
First thing I look, is it safe for my investment? Are my employees going to be safe also? One. Secondly, you now look at rule of law. Rule of law is wide. Intellectual properties, tax policy, judicial judgment. You look at that secondly. Then you look at infrastructure. Do I have infrastructure? Can we move from point A to point B? How do I move my goods? How do I move my staffs? Then you look at the last one, people. Because if I have all the product, I need to have the people that want to personalize me. Then from the people, you begin to talk about empowerment. Are the people even empowered to buy my product? So when you look at Lagos now, in terms of security, it has improved. It has always keep improving in Lagos. Lagos State is the only state that have the security trust fund, where the private sector and everybody are together to build that. That has been ongoing for the past years, and each successive government trying to make it better. And then when you look at rule of law, unfortunately, rule of law is not in the hands of the Lagos State government like that. It has to be, Nigerian judiciary, the processes and everything. But if you look at what Lagos State have done, they have tried to enhance the Ministry of Justice, with good infrastructure. You pass through there, you see how the governor have made that place look beautiful for them. The environment is conducive. So you want to look at that, you say, okay, they are doing very well there. And you look at infrastructure. Infrastructure is an ongoing conversation because it depends on which part of Lagos you are. And you begin to talk about infrastructure, because if you are in Ikeja, if you are in GRA, look, so much work is going on in that space. If you are in the Lekki axis, you see a lot of work is ongoing up to Ekpe.
Even Ikorodu.
So you said, okay, fine. But you could be in some other areas. The Ikpaja area will tell you that we've not really enjoyed that. The work has been ongoing to give us BRT. The roads are there. I like call it interlocal government. Interlocal government roads are very sorrowful to. When you look at road within streets, and unfortunately, it's not in the hands of the Lagos State government to do that. It's in the hands of the local government. And with the recent judicial judgment is finally in their hands to do all that. So I think if you look at that, Lagos have been doing well. That's why if you listen to the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics report that came out, over 80% of the foreign direct investment that came to Lagos State, and Abuja and the others shared them. So that tells you that they are doing something.
The remaining 20.
The remaining 20. That's why they are doing something which is good. But like I always say, there's always room for improvement. I've seen the Mr. Governor saying that we are going to do this. We are going to make sure we have infrastructure. We are going to, you see, road network opening up, causing inconvenience that will make us convenient in the long run. So I think you could see it, massive road infrastructure going on in Lagos to discongest Lagos State. I love the one that is going on around the Okpebi Island exit to link up to the Maryland, then go to Magodo. You know, you could see the Foresight Ojota own also. So it's massive development that they are doing, and hopefully that will attract more people. But I think there's still room for more in terms of security. They need to improve security, especially early morning security. Though we've seen that I think the Lagos State government have really equipped the Nigerian police force. But they can do better, especially when you have rain, you have those heavy traffic. Then you need to, before now, we used to have a lot of security men early hours in the day on Third Mainland Bridge. But unfortunately, we don't have them like that again.
But do you know, I still saw them. I saw them on, I think I saw them last week. Two of them on a bike, and they were patrolling.
You know those days, we don't have them on the bike. You have them...
Station. Okay, you're talking about the station ones. Okay.
Yeah, you see them on each. So it gives people confidence to ply the road. And sometimes, again, when it rains, we seem not to see them around. They're just in their cars. And I've had an incident in Ojota, where I was almost robbed and the police were in front. Ojota there. The police were in front, but I was almost robbed. And I was trying to report to the police, and the police called the area boy and was warning him, don't do that again. So you can imagine that. Okay. So it's an ongoing this thing. Security is not one of. You keep improving because the criminals also are improving in their own tricks. So you also have to up your game.
Okay, so you're saying despite all of this, Lagos will still remain the beautiful bride.
You see, you won't appreciate Lagos, what Lagos is doing, until you go to other states. Okay. Then you begin to look at, wow, so we are really enjoying Lagos. But when you're in Lagos alone, you still complain, they should do this, they should do that. But when you go to other states, you just need to go to neighboring state. Don't go too long. Too far. Don't go too far. Just go to a neighboring state.
We'll count our blessings.
Then you count your blessings.
In Lagos. All right. It is said that Lagos positions as the 5th largest economy in Africa. But with the current state of things in the country, the high cost of living, purchasing power is low, inflation, how do you think this has impacted the business climate in Lagos?
It's been tough for every business. I mean, it's been tough. But first thing we need to know is that it's a global challenge.
It's not just peculiar.
It's not just peculiar to Lagos or to Nigeria, but it's the way each government is addressing its issues that is making the difference. So we need to, like I keep saying, the challenge we have in Nigeria is that we do the copy and paste. Because the UK is hiking rate, doesn't mean you should hike your own rate. Businesses in Nigeria are an informal-driven business. When I mean informal, is the market women, the SMEs are cash-driven, liquidity-driven. You go to the market, you don't go like a brother. Everywhere you go to, you see, a point of purchase. But here, sometimes you go to the market, the women want their cash. It's a cash-driven economy. It's an economy that is built on liquidity. Once that liquidity is starved of that sector begins to suffer. Now, where are we where we are? Now, was just one singular decision that they took to say, okay, cashless policy, that they say you could not withdraw more than this during the Emefiele time. And you saw that's why businesses have been struggling. Then coupled with the reality of the things, which has to do with removal of fuel subsidy, floating of the Naira. And that has not really helped businesses. It's a global challenge. And again, the purchasing power of the average Nigerian has not improved. That's why I say Lagos State is blessed, because before the president announced the minimum wage of 70,000, I think a state like Lagos already saying we're going to pay 70. And so, and Edo, even if you say Edo was more or less like a political statement, but they were the first to say, okay, we are going to pay that. And so, when you look at that, but again, when you look at your purchasing power via the exchange rate, because we have dollarized our economy. So we must know that it's not supposed to be so, but we have dollarized our economy because the world has become a global business.
Exactly.
Then what Lagos State is doing, the Lagos State government is talking about.
Is it proper to dollarize our economy? Look, is it right?
You know, I said it on a platform I was last week, and I said, you know, the way we dollarize our economy is when it doesn't favor us, we dollarize it.
Okay.
When it favors us, we keep quiet.
Dollarization by convenience.
Now, you see, when you look at the price of PMS in some of this dollarized economy, is higher. When you look at cost of living in terms of housing, it's higher.
It's higher.
So we won't say that. But what we normally say is exchange rate.
True.
Exchange rate, naira to dollar, naira to dollar, naira to dollar. But you are not looking at the other factors that made the earning power of those people that earn dollar lower. That's why if you have people abroad, when you complain, they look at you and they smile.
They smile.
You saw a lot of people have jackpot, and when you talk to them, they say, I didn't know that it was like this. It's not easy. Because now, until recently, before, Nigeria were very wasteful with power. Especially if you are in Bambi at that time. How much is it? But these days, you can see the creativity. Everybody is looking for alternative source of energy to reduce its power source. You see, off the light, off the AC. So we are getting to where we are beginning to look at economic value earning. But that's where we have a challenge. But unfortunately, it's not a challenge that the government of Lagos State as a state can address it. Because the Lagos State government just, I think it was in last week, was talking about empowering SMEs with about 30 billion. So that's their own way of saying, look, and that's why the Lagos is the bride of almost all SMEs. Every company, they are coming to Lagos to establish their branch, SME business. You see them, first of all, come to Lagos. From Lagos is their base to launch out to other places. So you can say they are trying to see how can we help this small business that are the one moving the Nigeria economy. So, and 90% of them are in Lagos. Even those outside Lagos are bringing their product to Lagos. That's why I talk about the people. Now, in empowerment in Lagos, remember we have two critical sectors in Lagos. We have the public and the private sector. And most of the private sector are actually located in Lagos. The headquarters, some of the bigger companies are here in Lagos. So you can see that is why you say any product you bring here, you will sell because the people are there. So what I think the Lagos State government have done thus far, they have the wealth creation department that also empower SMEs in terms of training them for opportunities. So they are doing a lot. But what an average businessman needs is what Mr. Governor is saying he wants to do now. Putting about 30 billion in funding because the cost of funding, because of the hike in interest rate, has gone up. So a lot of businesses are struggling because they don't have funds to expand, and their overhead cost is going high. And so what happens when your overhead cost goes high? You begin to think of reducing your staff strength, and so you create more unemployment in Lagos. And Mr. Governor said, look, we will see how we can help SMEs that are enhancing the economy of Lagos State. Now, my challenge with that is, do you have the data to drive these SMEs that really are empowering, so that we don't have something whereby it become a political tool?
They'll just bring some names.
You bring some names in, and then you give them this thing. We saw that with the CBN policy of trader money and everything, the rice pyramid in Abuja that we didn't see again. So all these things, we don't want it to happen here. So if you want to drive the 30, let there be transparency. Let there be integrity. Let's see those businesses. Tell us how much you are giving to this business. Why are you giving them this money? What is the profitability they brought to Lagos State? Have they been compliant in taxes? You need to look at all these things before you begin to throw money around. You don't solve a problem by just throwing money around. That has been our greatest problem as a nation. We throw money to every problem we have. That will not help us. We need to look at what is the challenge that we have. You don't go to IMF every time. IMF does not go to Ikorodu. IMF is not in Ekpe. So they don't know how they... So you as a government, you need to sit down and what do my people need? Not what IMF think you need. And then you are driving an IMF policy that is killing your own business. No, it won't work. So what you get is that people tend to just get despair and everybody wants to travel because you are not encouraging them to invest. So I think the Lagos State government is doing well, but let's make sure that these things are not hijacked for political gain.
Okay, when we started the show, Mr. Governor said he's trying to simplify regulatory processes and eliminate bureaucratic bottlenecks. These are challenges, you know, some of these business owners are experiencing in Lagos. I'd like you to shed light on this.
Yes, bureaucracy is part of any business anywhere. So let's always know that. But how much does bureaucracy affect a business? That's the challenge. When every business have to go through a lot of bureaucracy, doesn't help. Now, second, what is the need for bureaucracy? It's actually supposed to be standard. You don't just allow your place to become a dumping ground. So you want to create a standard. Now, are you creating a standard for one person? You give him a standard, then the other person, you give him a different standard. If the standard is one, let it be one. Let everybody know that we are doing this standard. Not that business A is having a different standard because he knows somebody in government. Government B that's come to, you are not giving him that same level playing field. So that is where the problem is. Now, how has Lagos State tried it? I think I'm seeing them trying to do that in the Ministry of Lands. They are trying to digitize all the processes. That, for me, is a game changer. Because in Lagos, it's only in Lagos, sorry to say, it's only in Lagos you buy a property and Omonile collect money from you in Ikoyi. Then another person comes to buy that same property. Omonile collect money again. The same land. They are always coming. So we need to eliminate all this third party, this thing. And I think the processes you use is digitalization, whereby if I want to collect my landed document, I want to have my approval.
Or even if you want to buy that land, you can just go online and see if it is.
Look, let me tell you what is done abroad. It's very easy. Do you know, in abroad, it's a particular place you want to buy a land. You don't only know the land that are available, you even know the price range. So it's not like you go there to buy a land, the same Anthony, 300 million. Beside Anthony, 150. Then out Ikorodu, 400. So it's so. And because we're not saying we're not practicing capitalism, but look at the Lagos State government land use charge. It depends on the area and the cost of the building. That's what you use to pay your land use.
Sometimes it is what the landlord declares.
But now Lagos State are trying to digitize it, whereby they tell you that a particular place, this is the range. So that's a part of the things we are talking about. I think one thing they've been doing they're trying to bring in technology. You look at the Lagos Ride. That's another improvement. Lag Ride. So those are part of, it's driven by technology. It has CCTV cameras and everything. So you don't just, you realize that they've not been too much security challenges when you take Lag Ride. It's been almost seamless. The same thing they are saying, they are coming up with more buses by October. We get, so those are processes that you can use, but they must be digitized. So like I said, land is getting better by the day, and people are not, you know, it's only Lagos, you rent a house today, tomorrow though again they are trying to also improve the land, the real estate law, because what it means is that a lot of investment were not coming into Lagos State in the area of real estate because of the legal side of it, whereby most tenants were having more power than the landlord. You can stay in a house, the case will run for 2 years before you. But Lagos has improved upon that now, and I've come up with it to attract more investment in there. So I think they can do better. In every area, they try to do their best, but they can do better. But in this area of bottlenecks, I think the best way is to digitize it, where I sit in the comfort of my house. You don't need to know me. I don't need to know you. I fill out what I have to do. I put up the information that you need. You verify those informations are okay, and I get my deals done. And that can only be done when you digitize it.
All right, still talking about investment. So Lagos has a rich cultural heritage and a dynamic nightlife. How well are we harnessing this, you know, to build up our economy?
Yeah, you can just say about I think I remember a celebrity, is it the Kobana chief priest, saying he has relocated his business from the southeast to Lagos because of insecurity. And you know what? His business is all entertainment, nightclub, and you can see that again. Sometimes if you go through Lagos, I'm not a nightclub person, so I don't really know. But when you go through Lagos in the night, you tend to see a little bit of securities. You see some of this nightclub. You see their policemen around us are making sure that everything is good, especially entertainment. Lagos is entertainment. Like you say, the rich cultural. I think in the rich cultural aspect, Lagos have not really taken advantage of that because they've not really done that. I can say that. I hope the governor is hearing so that they could improve on that. The commissioner for tourism and Lagos have not really taken advantage. They have not made themselves. They have the oldest building in Nigeria in Badagry. The oldest story building in Nigeria is in Badagry. We've not seen Lagos taking charge of tourism, especially in the Badagry axis, where the slave trade started from. We're made to understand it started from Badagry and where they were moved. We've not seen. You go to Cross River State, for instance, in Calabar, the municipal. You go to a place where the trade were moved, and you see like
they look live. As if they are alive.
They are alive. They were crying. They were moving. They were moving.
Then the boats, you know.
The boat they move them with and everything. So Lagos need to improve on that. As long as you are building infrastructure, you need to also begin to create value so that people go there and pay, and then you use that money to maintain the infrastructure. So I think they need to do more in the area of tourism because of the rich cultural heritage that you're talking about. But in terms of entertainment, you know, Lagos is the hub of entertainment. I can tell you every December, Nigerian globally are thinking of Lagos. They want to come home.
They want to come for dirty.
They want to call it dirty December. Everybody is around. You see all even some you that have never visited Nigeria with maybe Nigerian parental heritage. Saying we are coming to Nigeria in December. They really, really want to come. Some of them, their parents have not even been in Nigeria for years. They are coming. And you know the beauty about it. Even the foreigners now say we heard about. They also want to follow
Lagos,
them to
Nigeria.
come to Lagos. So I think in the area of that, Lagos have done where they can do better. I mean, you know, what makes people to come for events like that is security, hospitality. Lagos has one of the best in terms of hotel facility, recreational facilities where people want to stay. So those are good. But what value are those recreational activities adding to Lagos State government? So those are what Lagos State government need to work at. But in working at that, it must be worked with a human face. What I mean a human face is, you don't just see my building, oh, because I'm into hospitality, you think I'm making money like the other person in Ikoyi. We must have a human face to everything that we are doing so that you don't kill businesses. Thank God the Lagos State Inland Revenue is beginning to have a human face. They normally come and have a discussion with you compared to previously where they just come seal up your business, harass you and make you feel your turnover is more or less like profit. Yeah, you keep explaining this turnover is not profit.
It's not profit.
So I think whoever is the new person in the lands, I mean the Inland Revenue is doing a good job. The staffs are more civil. They come to you, they talk to you. They make you see why you have to pay your tax. They let you see the development that is going on, what will help. Nigerians are not difficult people. All they need to see, they want to see what is that money that you are collecting from Team 1. What is it doing? If they say, that money is doing something, they will not want to be part of it, especially the informal sector. You know, up to this moment, both state and federal government have not been able to catch the informal sector. And they are the largest business community we have in Nigeria. So when we are talking about revenue, we are crying. You just need to get the informal sector to pay revenue, not multiple taxation, not multiple levy. They pay so much, but those levies sometimes don't even get to the state government. That's why I say the best policy team that the president presently have is the Tax Reform Committee. That committee is the best. Why is it the best? It seems to be the only committee that is looking at way where you can use tax to grow your business rather than revenue. So we need to begin to look at those. So rather than levying me, when I drive through Ikeja local government, I'm levied. When I go to Kosofe, I'm levied. When I go through Apapa, I'm levied. Let's see how you can reduce cost of doing business will attract more investors into your market.
Okay. Do you have a message?
Call for Lagos Sense if you have a question.
No.
Okay, so the conversation continues after we take our Lagos Sense. Please stay with us. Welcome back. It is still the conversation. Well, that was a not so good experience. So our guest in the studio, we still have with us Mukhtar Mohammed, an international finance and economics analyst discussing enhancing business operations and investment opportunities in Lagos. But before we continue our conversation, you will share with us your own Lagos sense.
Oh, I think it's funny. My Lagos sense happened sometime in 1990s, maybe 97, 98. When I first came to Lagos, you know, in the university, they made us understand that Lagos, the car does not wait for you. So at that time, we had the Molwares and others. And most a lot of people didn't meet Molware again, like we met Molware. So you get into the bus, and they tell you that once you get to your bus stop, you just say,
Oh, wow.
oh, wow. And when you say, oh, wow, the car will not stop. You just have to jump down. So I just came to, you know. So with that experience, my friends that stayed in Lagos are giving us in school. So we just felt, okay. So got to Pan Group. And the guy said, oh, wow. So before the guy would stop, so I said, okay, let me jump. So I jumped. So I didn't know that there's a style of jumping. When you jump, you keep moving. So I jumped. I wanted to stop, and I fell down. So that was my Lagos experience.
Oh my goodness.
That was quite unfortunate, but very funny.
That was my Lagos experience. So, but you know, and funny enough, I was going to see somebody.
But you learned a lesson.
I said, wow, the way I was dressed, will I continue the journey? So I learned my lesson.
You know, let me just say this. You know, there was a time I was in Anambra State and I was trying to get a bus, and the bus came and I was running after the bus, and people were looking at me. This girl is from Lagos. She's from Lagos. Because in other states, they don't run after buses.
You know, one of our friends had a very funny experience of Lagos when he came to Lagos. So he stayed at the bus stop. And well, you know the way this conductor called the pay. Antonio. The guy was like, he stayed there for maybe hours. He has not seen his bus stop. He has not seen his bus. So he now went to the. Yes, the guy said, I'm going to Ikeja. The guy said, you club license. And the guy now said, no, he's going to Anthony. They said, they've been calling Anthony. He now said, is there somebody named?
Anyway, Lagos is a unique state, is a unique place, and for those bringing their businesses to Lagos, I hope you are listening.
You need orientation.
You need orientation, and you must have Lagos sense before you come. Okay, still talking about harnessing business operations here in Lagos. Power plays a very, very major role in for business owners. How can the state government now harness this, you know, especially with the deregulation of the sector?
Well, I think Lagos was supposed to be the pace setter at a point. But unfortunately, I think maybe the then President Olusegun Obasanjo did not allow that to see the light of day. Lagos had some independent plan. I think during the time of Babatunde Fashola, they were trying to do something like that. And I think maybe with Mr. Governor, they tried to do something at the point to just cover only the Lagos State Secretariat and all this. So I don't know how far that has gone. But when you look at power, I think Lagos State really, really need to get that power be decentralized, like you say, deregulated. But again, it comes with its own challenge. The cost of power is powerful. Yes, that's the word.
The cost of power is powerful.
That's the word, because it's not an investment. It's not an investment. You invest money today, and you think you have returns tomorrow. So the best way to go through those one, I think, is the PPP, public-private partnership, whereby, and I think that's one area. I think with the kind of uniqueness of Lagos, I think Lagos State government should embark upon, rather than putting so much of the money that they do not have in that project. Give them the site, use your facility or whatever you're going to give them as your collateral while they invest the fund to drive the place, and let them build and operate for some time before you hand over. And then in the build and operate, the problem we always have is that you give foreigners build and operate, and you don't put the years to train your other Nigerians. So to be able to maintain those places when it's time for them to be hand over to after the years that they have been. So you must be able to do that, and that you must train our own people also in this technology that you are bringing here. I think Lagos should be leading the forefront for power. Before now, no matter how much you generate, you have to get it to the national grid. But now you can actually say as a state, you want to do only transmission or you want to do only distribution. And I like to tell people, I say Lagos have the resources to be able to do that. I hope they are able to get it, because some states already, I think state like Anambra State, already Abia State
yeah.
are already trying to do that. And I think Lagos should look at that and see how, maybe when we have competitors, then Ikeja Discos and Eco Discos, they will sit up.
Let's talk about human capital and skill development. How much of a game changer is vocational training, skills development, in building up our economic growth?
You see, people don't know that the greatest investment is your people as a government. But what I've seen with Nigerian government, maybe some state and federal, is we tend to build so much gigantic infrastructure. We don't train our own people. The development is not there. So what will happen is that foreigners still come to take this job. Now, where have we missed it? I think we missed it in the area of technical education. Before, we used to have technical college, government Lagos Technical College, where I don't have to be good with my head, but I'm good with my hands. Artisans and all those things. So we need to go back to the basics. If you are drawing up a Lagos policy, where is a place for human capital development? That is what, and human capital development actually has to start from the grassroots. Has to start, like I said, you have technical schools, you have business schools, you have secondary schools. You make sure you run a curriculum for everybody. So I know I'm not good at what I want to go to technical school just to learn to become a good mechanic. It's not a bad job. I was telling somebody that before now, we used to think being a footballer, when we were growing up, when you tell your parents that you want to play football, you say, are you okay?
You're a loser.
You're a loser, yeah. But these days, parents that are even millionaires take their children to go and train to how to play football.
It's even a full-time job for some parents.
So we need to begin to look at that human capital. I give you an example. A country like Brazil, they earn so much in terms of human capital exporting human capital, just football. They export to every country. They all want to recruit a Brazilian into their club, and so that's human capital development. We don't have to be the best in everything. Let's choose something that we can do.
And prosper there.
We can now become the leader in those areas. We don't have to be the jack of all trades, master of none. So when you look at our Lagos State, what is it in Lagos State that will give Lagos State an advantage over every other community, every other state or in Africa? I say, look at the water mass in Lagos. Why are we not seeing those? Why are we not seeing a lot of people being trained in real to become Lagos, become the hope of fishery?
Become the hope.
The hope. So you are training them, not the locals that we see just using oscillating to. You train them on how. What is the latest technology? How can we boost? We talk about tourism. We have. You know how many people goes out sometime when I think it was the Ikoyi Link Bridge. A lot of people just go there to see it. They say, "Wow."
I did.
And now we are seeing the Eco Atlantic. So we need to begin to look at what are we good at. Then when you know what you were good at, then you begin to train your people to take advantage of those opportunities. It's one thing to create the opportunity, but it's not good that this opportunity are taken up mostly by foreigners, the Chinese, the Indians. Before now, even in terms of tailors,
They're coming from
They are
Cotonou.
coming from Benin, Cotonou. Why all our own people they are looking for quick money? Everybody wants to do. You used to be Okada. Thank God for Lagos State government. I've said no, you can't drive on the street. Now everybody is doing keke napep. Everybody looking for quick money. We need to develop our skills.
And nurture it.
Nurture it, and the government need to play a bigger role in that. Not allowing you, sometimes in the morning you go out, you see able liquid men just sitting down, nothing to do. They need to develop their skills. It's not, you see, formal education is good. I tell people, in the developed world, if you look at all the billionaires, well, let's not even go far. Let's look at Nigeria. The richest man in Africa, the richest man in Nigeria, Aliko Dangote. How has he developed himself? Did he read engineering? He has a refinery. He has did he read transportation? He has a transportation. He's trying to go into steel. He's doing everything. What is that?
That steel project, we don't know if he's still with saying other things about it.
Informal. That's informal. He's developing himself. The informal to somebody said formal education will earn you a living. Informal education will earn you a fortune. And informal education comes from your passion. What you love to do. What you can just do for free. We need to begin to develop our children or the school. We need to create room for informal growth. Entrepreneurial skill. That's what Lagos State Ministry of Entrepreneurship and Wealth Creation. I think they have a department. So that's what they're doing. So we need to improve upon that. Get them to train them in skill management. Get to train people on how to manage. Get to train people in hairdressing. Get to train people in how to make hair. You know, all these things, they add up to the economy because there are people that will not have the time. So you are boosting your economy, the informal sector. And once you train them like that, you get them registered and you give them infrastructure and you tell them to pay tax, they will have to pay tax.
So what's your advice for business owners in Lagos just before we go?
Wow, it's a very tough time for business owners in Lagos. I think what we need to do is to reinvent ourselves. Begin to look at businesses that are growing, areas that you can do better to serve the people. And then take advantage of the opportunity that Mr. Governor have done in terms of funding. I think most businesses now, what they need is funding because the cost of funding is very high.
Cost of funding is very high. Thank you, Mukhtar Mohammed, International Finance and Economics Analyst. And we've been talking about enhancing business operations investment opportunities in Lagos State. Thank you.
My
Thank
pleasure.
you so much for coming.
My
We'll
pleasure.
go on another short break. When we come back, the program continues.